Hello, everybody. My name is Miguel Olivaress, and I'm delighted to present my thesis to you, titled "Knead: Rebuilding in our Relations with Food." And I'll start with this. Food can be many things. It can be an ingredient, it can be an emotion, it can be our culture. What I explore in my thesis is how food can be a material for design. My love for food and design started in this magical place called the Boucher, where I was part of a 10-day immersive design workshop led by Alan Chochanoff and Emily Botts. Here, after several years later, has led me to this very stage. The menu for today: a mouche bouche, which is a pre-appetizer, which deals with my research; the appetizer, design tools, and a digital table; the entree, and experience design. Also my business enterprise. And for dessert, a speculative design. Now let's begin with research. I'll present to you 4 books that are very influential. First, Cooked by Michael Pollan, which explained the importance of cooking missing from our current Western culture. Hungry City, that showed me how food has and still shapes our city landscapes. Consider the Fork by Big Wilson, that showed me how food has and still has shaped our daily kitchen utensils. The Hand, which was one of the most influential books that taught me about the conversations that we have with our hands and our food and our minds. Today, the average American spends a mere 27 minutes a day on food preparation, another 4 minutes on cleaning up. What does this mean? That we're spending more time watching cooking shows than actually cooking. And we surround ourselves with devices that push us away from actually engaging in our everyday lives. And I had the privilege to talk to 18 designers over the course, and I'll show you I'll show you a sampling of the professionals that influenced my work. First, Claire Harden, which guided me to the importance of the kitchen as an economic force in our society. Robert Lawava, who taught me the need for designing our children's food education. Ethan Smith, with great honesty, explained the need for change in the current restaurant culture. The appetizer, design tools. With this question, I ask, how can emotions shape our physical world? How can our hands actually shape what we have? And this is a series of clay studies, and I discovered that generosity needed to be shared, and I invited a friend to shape this clay with me. This led to this question: what are the tools others can use to shape generosity? I designed these tools thinking of their potential use, and then I left my hands, neither purpose, which came to be in the bread-making process. Through the actual making and doing, I was able to have a deeper conversation with the bread, the tools, myself, and it allowed me to be present and fully engage in what I was doing. This is one of the ways I now find myself being, and creating this definition of kneading, working out your thoughts and emotions through action. In reflection of this definition, I continued in exploring the tools and bread. And if you haven't guessed already, I love bread. This is why I decided for the past 8 months to make it by hand, in order to fully appreciate the love I have for it. If you're around me, I'll gladly share my labor of love, like I have for the past year, to my friends and family. The appetizer, a digital table. Can we practice physical cooking techniques through a playful digital kitchen experience? Elements, a digital work table where you can practice, play, and perfect your cooking techniques. Here I explored how you can actually improve your manual dexterity by practicing cooking techniques. Let's get started. I wanted to focus on pinching and the lost gestures that we have lost for the past year, couple years. I wanted to gamify pinching and see how we can actually use our hands again to reconnect with our physical environment. And I also wanted to explore another gesture, which was smashing. In this case, you can maybe transform yourself to the Hulk and smash for 10 seconds and actually have fun with your hands and practice with maybe potentially your children and family members. But the main course is an experience design. Here, I was lucky to visit PS 86, located in the Bronx, where I had the great opportunity to co-teach 30 fifth grade students about food design. The goal became to prioritize their learning of a new healthy food habits through the lens of food design. They read and created system maps through the lens of design and created playful dishes. And I wanted to explore how can food be a material for design. And have individuals, our classmates, really explore how food can be used to make playful and beautiful dishes. To really engage in their hands and find ways to really educate themselves and the full experience of creating food. And I came away with this definition. An individual that engages of a food designer, an individual that engages others in experience to better our food relationships. And what really came out was the actual experience. How not only with our dishes, but how we can actually bring intent in our experiences, we can actually bring a meaning. The main course. Kiko Kitchen is a market fermentation bar and kitchen space designed to bring us closer to the way we grow and prepare and share our food. We offer educational workshops, shared meals, and company events that are designed to be memorable, immersive food experiences. I envision this store to be merchandised and have a customer experience similar to the Shed in Northern California, where they also have a fermentation bar they have created. I also had the great opportunity to meet Harry Rosenblum, owner of the Brooklyn Kitchen, who counseled me in the business structure and the difficulties found in establishing this type of space. I developed a 3-tiered business model prototype informed by working at Whole Foods Market for several years in the highest grossing store in the company. As well as these, I have been experimenting with fermentation for the past 2 years. And by doing so, has given me a metaphor that I can apply to this potential service, which is the culture of patience, care, and attention to healthy ecosystems needed to keep this service alive and thriving. As well as the menu would be influenced by my rich Mexican cuisine and the flavors I grew up with. The dessert, a speculative design, where I asked, what will we lose when technology in the kitchen renders cooking fully automated? This is a scenario where a young woman, for the first time, picks up these tools to practice and evoke the lost skills in cooking. The goal of this speculative scenario is to remind us of the time spent cooking with our families and friends, the morning rituals involving your favorite pancake recipe, the family traditions that we look forward to every year, and the comforting moments that enrich our lives. I'll leave you with this quote, which I was very grateful to have from Frank R. Wilson. Even though there's a recipe as a person gains experience, that recipe really becomes a jumping off point for the full engagement of every sense, memory a person has to get a final result. And I hope my work has made you aware of the recipes that you can use as a jumping off point to focus on what matters, which for me is and has remained a loving family and a delicious meal. Thank you.
So there is an unbelievable tension, a contradiction between the zero tech and the high tech. There's such a mandate right now to try and use technology to get back what technology has taken away. It's sort of this unbelievable irony. You've gone straight for that and tried to reconcile these things. I actually love the pinching one. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about how you were able to navigate this and how you were able to actually make peace with it instead of just saying no to any kind of technology. The work is so poetic and so ritualistic, and yet we're living in this time that we're living in.
Well, to start, I think with the definition I developed, which has become more of a philosophy, which whatever is in some ways given to me, I try to work through and really find meaning in it rather than just set it aside. So not only within our department and also within life, any challenges that are given, I do my best to work them and work with, and therefore enriches my sense and hopefully others.
Yeah, there's there's a lack of prejudgment in your work. You're, in some sense, you're not in your own way. There is also there's a presence to you in the department for the past 2 years, also a dependability and an incredible generosity of spirit and all of the things that you brought to the department, lots of cooking. Yeah. But lots of things that have social value. I see a lot of concentration on the individual in the work. You talk a lot about the social. So maybe just a half a minute or a minute on how you can move back and forth between what's personal and ritualistic as an individual and what moves, and I guess to pick up on your word, to the family.
Well, one of the reasons why I feel food in itself can do that, because not only can you have a singular meal, but also a family meal. So within that sense, also adapting that metaphor, and so it's creating a way of designing where you're not only stuck within this one scenario, but it can actually adopt it to a society, and therefore always thinking about the family. In this case, I'd rather think of them as family members rather than users, and therefore be able to adapt all the things, all the skills that we gain, the services, the business models, our user journey, and rather look at it as a recipe, as a way of being again, to really help everybody engage in what we're doing and find a way of connecting with others. And I think that's, for me, has been the main goal, to always connect, not only through food, through design, through a simple gesture, handshake. It's always to connect. And I think that's, if anything, the goal of design.
That's beautifully put. Thank you, Miguel.
Thank you. I'll present to you 4 books that are very influential. First, Cooked by Michael Pollan, which explained the importance of cooking missing from our current Western culture. Hungry City, that showed me how food has and still shapes our city landscapes. Consider the Fork by Big Wilson, that showed me how food has and still Hello, everybody. My name is Miguel Olivaress, and I'm delighted to present my thesis to you, titled "Knead: Rebuilding in our Relations with Food." And I'll start with this. Food keeping many things has led me to this very stage. The menu for today: a mouche bouche, which is a pre-appetizer, which deals with my research; the appetizer, design tools, and a digital table; the entree, and experience design. Also my business enterprise. And for dessert, a speculative design. Now let's begin with research. Has shaped our daily kitchen utensils. The Hand, which was one of the most influential books that taught me about the conversations that we have with our hands and our food and our minds. Today, the average American spends a mere 27 minutes a day on food preparation, another 4 minutes on cleaning up. What does this mean? It can be an ingredient, it can be an emotion, it can be our culture. What I explore in my thesis is how food can be a material for design. My love for food and design started in this magical place called the Main Boucher, where I was part of a 10-day immersive design workshop led by Alan Chochinoff and Emily Botts. Here, after several years later,